Hi, everybody. I am Darla Reborn, encouraging independent thought and challenging popular opinion. I want to share my thoughts on a meme that I've been seeing circulating around on Facebook. And here we go. It says something like this: Shout out to low maintenance friends, the ones you don't talk to for months because you're both living life. But when you meet up, there's nothing but love. I have some challenges with this. All right. Excuse me, but let me share my thoughts, right? Here we go. Relationships require maintenance, right? In order for a relationship to thrive and to progress, you have to be maintaining it. Let me use an example of a plant. Okay, I have about 7 plants. They all need water, they all need sunlight, they need a mist every now and then. Sometimes you need to repot, you need to prune, just you need to do things to maintain it, or it's going to be looking a little rough. Now, I think sometimes when it comes to our relationships, we have this perspective that they stay in one place, but nothing stays in one place in this life. The world is constantly rotating, okay? It's in constant motion. We have seasons, the weather changes. The skies can go from one thing 1 hour, and then the next hour it can be dark. It can go from cloudy to sunny. Life changes and it's in constant motion. So this idea that relationships that we haven't dealt with for a long time is like a coffee mug on a table that when you just go and you come back, it's still there. Now, even that example doesn't work because it might be hot when you leave it down, but if you leave it down too long, it's going to be cold. And that's what happens to our relationships, is my point. Okay? So now, every relationship isn't the same. So there are relationships where maybe you were close at one point, maybe at one point in your life, let's say you knew this person in high school or in college, or you worked with this person years ago and you had a connection. So every now and then you update, you connect. But in terms of people that you consider close, people that you actually want to have a part of your life for a long-term basis, people that you consider lifelong, and you really do feel like you have a closeness with them, you have a bond that you don't consider anything light. When you have this perspective that if you just sit it there and you leave and you come back, everything will be good, I don't think that's a very safe way to function in our relationships, because you're either growing closer together or further apart. And depending on what has happened in the time frame you have not been in contact, you could be further apart. And I'm just going to say this because there are good times in life, there are times of transition, there are times of sorrow, there are times of growth. And depending on what time and what season your friend or your loved one is going through, if you miss out on that time, you have probably missed out on a really great opportunity to bond with that person, and you're not closer. Now, I just put it out there this way. If you are in a relationship with someone that you consider close, and the majority of your communication is updating, then you're probably not maintaining your relationship. I'll just put it that way. Maintenance. Now, you may not daily maintain, you may not weekly maintain, but is it going to be monthly, semi-monthly? If it's quarterly, you determine however that is. But if you have a relationship with someone that you consider to be close to you, you probably need to maintain that relationship with a little bit more consistency. Now, the thing about this and Facebook and Instagram and all these different great avenues of staying in communication, sometimes we feel like we're closer to people than we really are. Because you see a picture or you get an update via Facebook doesn't mean you're personally connecting with that person. And because of texting, because of quick inboxes we can shoot out in which we're not too emotionally involved, we have become lazy. And I don't want to be judgmental, and I don't want to come off from a perspective of like a senior position, because my own husband has told me I need to improve my communication skills. So I'm here to say that I'm lazy at times too. So I can do a lot better job at keeping up with people who matter in my life, because I was just reading a meme that really made me think, you know, it basically, I'll paraphrase, it was dealing with someone saying, you know, I really don't give a fart if somebody decides to fly across the country and, you know, take off time from work to come to my funeral. Come visit me now while I can engage with you. We can have an interaction and we can really make it something to remember. And I think sometimes we think so much about that. We wait till the emergencies happen. We wait till we find out somebody's sick or somebody needs us, and then we show up. But we've missed out on opportunity to live. Okay? So what I'm here to do is speak from your conscience. Like, life. This is life speaking to you right now. You're probably not as engaged in the relationships that you have as much as you could be. Even the ones under our own roof, because of this, we'll be on the phone, we'll be texting, we'll be playing games, we have technology. When I think back, I'm an 80s kid. And I remember when there was a time where people did not have but maybe one television in their house. Now people have televisions in their bedrooms and multiple rooms of the house, in the kitchen, and it has become a separator. People are more focused on their program and you know, their favorite reality show or whatever, and they're missing out on opportunities to bond with their kids. You might know the facts about what's going on in your loved one's life, like, oh, they just had a baby or whatever, but do you know how they feel? Are you present to know what they need at the time? Are you engaged? Are you supporting the process? Or are you just informed? There's a big, big difference. And I think that with the influx of technology, which is very, very beneficial, we have also become lazy. Because I grew up in an era where we used to write letters. Do you know how engaged you have to be to write a letter? To sit down and handwrite, not type, but handwrite a letter and then stamp it and then go to the mailbox and then wait to find out when they've received it and, you know, and wait for the response. That took a lot of energy. And now we have phones and we can text. And there are people who they spend their whole time texting. And there's a place for it. But seeing visible letters on a screen and hearing someone's voice and hearing the inflections and the emotions in their voice, there's no replacement for that. So with technology has come a lot of benefits, but we also have become a lot more disconnected. We've become a lot more assumptive, and we have this idea of being connected to people that we're really not as close with as we like to think that we are. And some of us actually spend time. We have emotional connections with our cell phones. They're not emotional connections with people per se, because we spend a lot of time alone. Because let's just deal with this, right? I'm a military wife, and I grew up in a military family. So I have lived in about 9 or 10 states. So I haven't been very close physically with the people who I've loved. So I've had to be over the phone, send letters, and do all that kind of stuff. And I really suck at letters, so I'm sorry. But I'm going to get better with that. But here we go. You have face-to-face, right? Face-to-face is the ultimate sense of connection that you have. If you're in town with people and you still spend most of your time on the phone, then you do what you can, is the point I'm trying to make. If you're in town, make a purposeful effort in getting face-to-face with the people who are close to you, who value you and who you value, right? If you don't have that option, then when you can, make an agreement that we're going to see each other on this time, maybe once a year, you know, once a season, whatever, depending on how close or far you are together. Make a plan to see each other when you can, because that's the ultimate connection. When you can see, hear, touch, smell, taste, you can be in the presence of the person that you love, and that's the ultimate. But then you have the phone. You can hear their voice. You know, you can share a laugh. You can hear the sound of their silly giggle and their snort, you know, whatever that is. Then after that, you have letters, you know. So don't just jump to the most simple, you know, sometimes we don't want to get too involved, and we really don't want to take the time to hear what somebody else is dealing with or whatever. We just kind of want to shoot something their way and keep it moving. But when we live that way, you know, you got to do what you got to do from day to day. I get it. You know, I'm a mother of 2 toddlers, and, you know, it gets busy. You know, we have families, we have school, we got work, we got responsibilities. Some of us are up to our ears in too much responsibility. And sometimes we might need to let some things go because it's compromising the quality of our lives, but that's another subject. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we need to take more time to be engaged. Let me go ahead and follow up on the point that I made earlier. If the relationships in your life that matter the most to you are mostly comprised of interactions in which you are updating, then you're not likely maintaining those relationships. They require maintenance. You decide what that maintenance is with the person you're in a relationship with, right? Now, let me just say this, because I was thinking about this before I decided to talk to you guys. How many of you have had the friend that complains that you don't call them, but they don't call you? How many of you all have had that friend? How many of you all have been that friend? Come on, it's all right. Be honest. I've been that person before. I've done that with my parents, you know, and I know that I haven't been as communicative as I could be. Sometimes people in your life are complaining that they want you to call them because maybe when they call you, you're not really available. So they're kind of waiting on an opportunity to connect with you. But if you find that anything I say in this video has any kind of truth, then think about what you can do to improve the connections in your life, because you're going to have your season in which you need support. And it's not just about that. It's not just about the hard times. We want our friends and our loved ones to be there to celebrate with us when good times come. When I had my daughter last year, my son the year before that, you want the people closest to you to surround you and envelop you. And you want to be surrounded with their good thoughts and well wishes. And when we're disconnected from each other, we miss out on opportunities to bond. So I'm calling myself and the people that I care about, you, to think about how we can improve the value of our relationships, the connectedness in our relationships. Once again, it's not just about knowing the facts about what's going on in somebody's life. That's not what makes you connected to the person. It's knowing about them. But how involved are you in the process? Are you hearing how they feel? Do you know what they need? Are you there to support? Are you present? It's about being present. Be present in your life. Do you stop and smell the roses? Do you stop? Are you aware? Do you actually stop and say, okay, wow, let me look at the sky. Let me see how things are around me. Let me get an idea of what the temperature looks like and feels like. All right, I think I've made enough of my point. Be present. All right, so I'm not feeling that mean. I just think it encourages laziness. And honestly, in this modern era, we're quite lazy. We don't know our neighbors anymore. I mean, I could go on and on. You know this. And if you're getting a little itchy, it's probably because you find that this is true. So don't be offended. Don't be mad. Be present. And get to work. Because relationship takes maintenance. You can't just get a great relationship with minimal effort. It doesn't happen that way. That's another video. I'm going to deal with that later. But relationship take maintenance. People, we require support and good stuff. You can't even have a plant without seeing it every day and just checking and talk to your plants and be connected. I will not beat a dead horse any longer. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.